Hey guys, what's going on? Today what I'm going to be doing is reviewing what the Spider-Man stealth suit and the new Mysterio champs are going to be looking like when they're coming into the game this month. How I feel they're going to stack up against other champions and how I feel like they're going to play. So first off, we're going to have a look at the Spider-Man stealth suit, and from what I've seen, essentially he's just going to play the exact same as Starkey. He's gonna work off having an insane crit rate, especially as you can see here against the Sinister Six and Symbiote champions. So that's anybody like Symbiote Supreme, Carnage, Venom the Duck. As you can see, there's a lot got to do with passive Fury. Fury looks like it's going to be his main sort of damage output, whereas with Stark and Spider-Man it was mostly critical attacks. Landing really high crit damage. With this, it looks like Stealth Spider-Man is just going to be doing a lot of flat out damage, especially against those enemies previously mentioned. So as you can see here, he's going to be working with a nice little evade, probably a better evade than Stark and Spider-Man had, but maybe even better than in classic Spider-Man, a 70% chance to evade basic attacks. So with Starkey you usually do block and try to evade special attacks, whereas as you can see here it's better to not block, which I guess is better for parrying compared to the other Spider-Man. Usually they can evade when you don't want them to, but it looks like this Spider-Man might actually cancel that out. So as you can see, he has a bit of a pre-fight ability just like Human Torch. You can actually choose which cartridge he starts with, and that's a very handy tool to be using because you can sort of plan out your fights. I think myself that both Flashbang and Tranquilizer seem to be the best abilities to start with. The Web Foam is okay, but you're only really going to be using that against somebody like a Juggernaut or somebody like Spider-Gwen who can evade. The Enervate is very handy because you can just beat into an opponent. Anybody who has really hard to dodge specials or anybody who has really good specials, this will work well against them. Now, as you can see, Flashbang has the vulnerability debuff just like Invisible Woman, so that's going to increase your critical damage on top of an already increased base attack due to the Fury. Now his special attacks look pretty good as well, especially the Special 2. You can increase your duration of debuffs, which is very handy. And the Special 3 then is just getting back those web cartridges, which will be spent during the fight. The Spider-Man stealth suit, as well as Miles Morales and Symbiote Spider-Man, looks like a very handy tool to be using, especially against the Collector. So maybe this Spider-Man might actually be a better attacker against the Collector than usual Stark Spidey. And as you can see, that's just the abilities again and the special attacks. What I'm more looking forward to actually is Mysterio. I'm not sure if it's because of his look or because he can inflict poisons, but he looks like a really cool character, and I'm sure his abilities and his in-game animations are going to be very cool. So Mysterio can't actually have his ability accuracy lowered, so this is going to be really well against Domino. He seems like he could be a perfect Domino counter because he won't take as much damage when he manages to miss out on activating one of his abilities. His immune to poison, very good counter for the likes of Abomination on Alliance War. And this cracked helmet just seems to be sort of the same as when you nullify against this cracked helmet seems to be just the very same as when you knock down Corvus, except just a little bit longer. So he can inflict chemical gases, which seem to be a debuff solely solely generated by him. So chemical gas, it's a passive debuff, but it can be transformed into a poison debuff, dealing 4000 direct damage. That's actually pretty insane. You'd be lucky to get 4000 damage per second from a domino critical bleed, so that's actually not too bad per chemical gas. So if you had 3 chemical gas, that's 12,000 damage per second. That's insane. You negate Spider-Verse Heroes Evades. That's pretty sick. 100% chance to inflict a heal block passive, which also is very good. I think I'm more hyped up on what his moves, his special attacks are going to look like more than his abilities. Although his abilities are pretty insane too. That chemical gas does serious damage. Mysterio gains an illusion gas passive lasting 4 seconds and all his chemical gases are consumed, adding 1 second to his duration. While active, the opponent is inflicted with a power drain, losing 6% of their max power per second. That's actually sort of similar to Namor's, although Namor drains his own power, this seems like it could drain the enemy's power just as well. All incoming attacks have 25% chance to miss. That's really good, increasing to 100%. So you can actually, Taskmaster has a similar ability when just after you trigger an exploit weakness, you'll heavy attack and you'll have a second where no enemy attacks will land. This is actually really similar, except this is more useful, it's more frequent. So he's got some nice little synergies here. I like the Daredevil one. Poison durations are increased by 2 seconds. I'm a big fan of any synergy that lengthens debuffs, just like Massacre and Dominoes. Again, you can use this. Oh, you can use it with the new Stealth Spider-Man. Add an additional 2 seconds. So, see, that's a different to the poison. I don't feel like the Emma Frost synergy is worth even bothering to get, because reverse controls are kind of easy enough to deal with anyway. The illusion gas passive, so that basically just, I'm not sure it's worth even swapping out your chemical gas for an illusion gas. Yeah, sure, you can charge your heavy and they can't land a hit on you, but is it really worth it? I mean, you could do mad damage instead. If struck while reflection gas is active, the incoming damage is stored. Upon expiry, 70% of the damage is reflected onto the opponent and Mysterio. Wow, that's actually pretty powerful. So it's almost similar to Namor in the way that his Sig ability is when he's attacking, he reflects damage and he doesn't take any. Whereas here, it's almost the exact same. So that's a pretty useful ability. I'm really looking forward to using Mysterio. While Frenzy Gas is active, Mysterio gains 6000 attack rating and the potency of his poisons are increased by 300%. So by the looks of it, what you want to be doing is getting to your SP3, making sure you have the synergies that lengthen Frenzy Gas. 10 seconds is pretty sick. So what you want to be doing is you want to be getting your 3 chemical gases, you want to hit the SP3, and then you just want to make sure you keep poisoning the opponent. That seems like the best way to do it, and that's the way I'm going to be using Mysterio. I feel like he's going to be really good against mutants, he's going to be decent against anybody who causes poison, he's going to be decent against most champions. And I'm looking forward to him a lot more than I'm looking forward to Stealth Suit Spider-Man. So that's it, guys. We're looking forward to seeing when these champions come out.